Imagine, in the middle of the 21st century, in an age where satellites blanket the sky and the internet has turned the world into a single village, there still exists a community completely alien to us, isolated from the world, on the same planet as us, yet seemingly in another universe. This is North Sentinel Island, home to the Sentinelese, who have lived cut off from the outside world for thousands of years. This tiny island, part of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is surrounded by a narrow band of coral reefs and almost entirely covered in dense forest. From above, nothing can be seen. While airplanes land and take off just 50 kilometers away in the modern city of Port Blair, here life continues as it did in the Stone Age, hunting with bows and arrows. The Sentinelese are considered the most isolated tribe in the known world. They have no knowledge of the outside world and no connection to technology. And most importantly, they have one clear stance toward outsiders: hostility. For thousands of years, people from around the world have tried to reach the island and communicate with the Sentinelese. Every attempt failed. The Sentinelese repel outsiders and often kill them. Some anthropologists suggest that the Sentinelese may perceive outsiders as a kind of alien. Despite their aggressive stance, the Indian government has taken strong measures to respect their isolated way of life. Since the 1990s, the 3-mile area surrounding North Sentinel Island has been declared a prohibited zone, and entry is completely banned. Yet illegal attempts continued. One of the most striking occurred in 2018. A 26-year-old American, John Allen Chau, secretly traveled to the island, hoping to introduce Christianity to the tribe. He was killed by the Sentinelese within days. The incident shocked the world and highlighted the critical importance of the tribe's total isolation. The origins of the Sentinelese are ancient. For a long time, they were thought to be descendants of the first modern humans who migrated from Africa to Asia between 50,000 and 75,000 years ago. Modern research suggests that the first humans reached the Andaman Islands about 26,000 years ago, during the last ice age. At that time, the Andaman Islands were connected to present-day Myanmar by a land bridge. Paleolithic hunter-gatherer tribes could walk across. Over thousands of years, glaciers melted, sea levels rose, and the land bridge disappeared. The islands became completely isolated. This isolation cut off the tribes from the outside world. The Sentinelese represent the extreme of this isolation. They have survived until today as witnesses to human history, living far from modern society and according to their own rules. In 1789, the British Empire arrived, establishing colonies in the Andaman Islands and drastically changing the region's history. The largest settlement then became today's Port Blair. British ships encountered about 7,000 isolated tribes on the islands. Most were defenseless against diseases like measles, influenza, and smallpox, which the British carried, and these epidemics devastated the populations. The exception was the Sentinelese. Their small, strategically insignificant island kept them safe from this catastrophe. In 1867, a British trading ship wrecked near North Sentinel Island. 106 survivors reached the shore, but 3 days later, a group of natives emerged from the forest and attacked them with arrows. This was the first violent contact with the Sentinelese. 13 years later, in 1880, Maurice Vidal Portman, administrator of the Andaman Islands, led an expedition to the island. They encountered an elderly couple and 4 children. Portman tried to take them to Port Blair, but the elderly couple soon died from disease. Frustrated, he returned the children with gifts. He wrote in his diary, "The expedition ended in failure. We gained nothing but their hostility. Perhaps leaving them alone is best." Many researchers believe this event may explain the Sentinelese's continued hostility toward outsiders. In 1896, an Indian prisoner escaped from Port Blair's penal colony on a raft and drifted to North Sentinel's shore. The British search team found him dead, pierced with arrows and his throat cut. The message was clear. The Sentinelese were closed off to the outside world. Time passed, empires fell. In 1947, India gained independence, and North Sentinel Island came under Indian administration. The government sought peaceful contact with the natives, but this was not easy, as no one spoke their language. In 1967, Indian anthropologist Triloknath Pandit began sailing around the island and leaving gifts on the beaches to gain the trust of the Sentinelese. His persistent efforts over years gradually started to show results. In 1991, one of Pandit's assistants visited the island for a routine gift delivery. On that day, the Sentinelese approached the boat directly to accept the gifts for the first time. A month later, Pandit returned with his assistant and witnessed an extraordinary scene. About a dozen Sentinelese greeted them on the shore. Soon, these groundbreaking images spread worldwide. Modern humans and Paleolithic hunter-gatherers were side by side. This marked the peak of Pandit's 24 years of patience. In 1992, Pandit retired. The Indian government then prohibited all visits from the outside world. The 3-mile area around North Sentinel Island was declared a prohibited zone, with the Indian Navy patrolling continuously. In 2006, 2 Indian fishermen, drifting into the prohibited zone, were killed by the Sentinelese. Their bodies were reportedly displayed on bamboo stakes as a warning. In 2018, American Christian missionary John Allen Chau reached the island unprepared. Within days, he met the same fate, killed by the Sentinelese. The Indian government grants full legal immunity to the tribe. This is reasonable, as any contact from the outside world not only endangers lives but could bring diseases capable of destroying the tribe. The Sentinelese have repeatedly sent a clear message. We want to be left alone. Perhaps the greatest respect we can show them is to honor this wish. Today, humanity possesses the most advanced technology in history. We live hectic lives in sprawling cities. For centuries, we have built systems for society, ethics, religion, and language. Cultures have influenced each other, and humanity shares common values. But the Sentinelese live in a completely different world. They have remained isolated for centuries, creating their own culture and values without external influence. They perceive what they see, hear, and experience differently from us. Their world is entirely unlike ours. If you encountered such an isolated society, would you choose to approach them or to leave them in peace? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. We will explore the world together, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss my new videos. See you in the next video.